same page and the decisions are made mutually.
All right, fantastic. I appreciate you all keeping this a nice, even keel, friendly debate. That's nice to see. What are, starting left to right, your top 3 campaign issues that you think are most important to you and the people of Valentine?
Currently, the biggest issue I think would be lack of law enforcement as of right now. I would definitely love to work closer with them to ensure that there's going to be active law enforcement going around. Um, I also think that as far as the businesses go, there ain't enough contracts going around. I, as mayor, if I were to be put in, would make sure that there are contracts around for everyone to work with doctors, horse trainers, you name it, to make sure that we get everything we need for the people. I mean, the third thing, I'd like to see definitely some more businesses opened up, rather than just restaurants. Maybe something else, something different. And I'm definitely willing to work side by side with those people, if appropriate, and do my best to help them out.
All right, you, sir?
Well, it's gonna be a bit hard to summarize all the problems in only 3, but I will begin, sadly, again, as Mr. Weston said, by businesses. We definitely need more business around and more opportunity for the folks of the town here. And we definitely need more work between those business and, creating more opportunity, but not only inside the county here of New Hanover, but maybe working with other towns too, trying to do contract between the different ranch, the different businesses in general, and trying to create that way more opportunity. And last one will be to create kind of unity between the folks that live around the town here, creating for example some kind of little reunion meetings like my fellow colleagues say there. But for example, having Saturday, Sunday's church put back in track there, and maybe some barbecues after, kind of little things there that the community need to come together.
Okay, and you, sir?
Well, my 3 main issues that I would like to address are support for local businesses. It's definitely something that I would be looking into. I'd like to see more. I'd like to see the general store open for someone to run rather than it being by a local. I'd like to see the prices to be more incentivized towards local businesses. I'd like to inspire the assembly of maybe a farmer's market that people who are not able to see each other at certain times will be able to bring the produce in to sell to certain people. I know that Miss Violet is looking for cotton, and I know another person that has cotton but never seems to see each other. I think this would be a good compromise in that regard. As far as other things, let's talk about town safety. I would like to see more training and drills done for the sheriffs and deputies to practice to be more efficient on the field. I'd like to see guard stations near the banks. I'd like to see a lot of things. As far as my third issue would be the town health. I would like to see more doctors, and I will do what I can to incentivize the presence of more doctors. Uh, Through events as well there'll be lotteries, horse races, donkey jousting. I hear is very fun. So I'd like to see that as well to pay for these things to get more doctors and more lawmen in.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we're going to go into some specific positions that have been raised throughout the county. What is each of yours, starting left to right, position on the potential federal legalization of swamp herb?
Well, federal legalization of swamper. You see, first I heard of it, but I mean, gonna be honest, I don't think it hurts anybody. I wouldn't see it being a big problem, and I think you could work closely with a local business maybe to open up that would be able to work with getting a steady flow in.
All right, you, sir?
Well, that's definitely a question that need to be seen with the doctor itself, as they are the health taking care of down there. So it's something that I cannot really answer myself. It's something that will need to be worked with doctors and see with doctors, and then on their advice, that's up to the mayor after all to see what can be done and if it need to be done. But I let that question in the end of the doctor.
All right, you sir.
Personally, I would like to get the opinions of the people of Valentine before I would make a final opinion on such a thing. I would probably have like some type of voting on if we should have this be legalized. But in my personal opinion, I don't doesn't really make sense that it would be legalized. So if it were just up to me, I would say no, I do not want swamp weed to be legalized in Valentine. Again, before I would make a final decision, I would be talking with the public.
All right, fair enough. Now, on a more religious tone, there have been some startling rumors of witchcraft going on, especially out in the bayou area. Now, I realize not everybody is of a religious nature, but what is each of your position on witchcraft and the practicing of the occult?
Well, everyone's free to practice their own religion. I believe we would get involved and do our best to prevent any such thing happening if it were to be hostile towards humans, such as sacrifices and so on and so forth. That being said, I would not promote it if it involves hurting other innocent people, no matter if it's from our town or any other area.
All right, and you, sir?
But to have been witness of those kind of witchcraft there on another continent, I would say that until it hurt anyone, I will be on the same, again, sadly, same stance as Monsieur Weston there. You know, if it's not a concern for the town or for the folks outside of the town, nothing need to be done about it. But if there is a problem of security for the town and its citizen, that's something we will look into, definitely, and definitely not encourage it.
All right, you, sir?
I do not encourage the practice of witchcraft. It is an abomination. That being said, if it does not hurt people and there is proven and heavily regulated, I might be able to sway my mind. But from what you just initially said about witchcraft, I would say yes, no witchcraft, no good.
Okay, okay. Now, we've talked a bit about local businesses and the effect that they have on the economy. Is there anything each of you might do different than what's been done currently to support those local businesses? Starting with you, Mr. Weston.
Yeah, as stated before, I would work with every business and get a contract going. One thing I would love to do, especially with current prices going up with bandages and food. I'm sure everyone knows about the bread and water. If there are some people that may not be able to feed themselves, so help me God, I would do my best to maybe go hunting with a bunch of other people under a contract and get us some venison and do our best to feed those that can't help themselves.
Okay, okay. And you, sir.
Well, as I adapt myself to what we call democracy, what we are showing here today, I would like to remind everyone that in a free country like the United States and the Southern Republic, people who should be free to, pursue their endeavor in their businesses without too much interfering of the state itself and the mayora. But an economy cannot run on nothing. I'm pretty sure that it will not be very liked by everyone, but a tax will be probably something that my mayora will look into. As you said, the inflation did rise the price there, which make businesses having a bit of money on their side there. They pay their low, and I'm pretty sure, and everything is going pretty well for business owners. So yes, we will put a tax, and that money will be redirected afterwards to the citizen of the Valentine town here with diverse things that we'll be looking into later, of course.
Okay. All right, Mr. Reinhardt.
Would you be so kind as to repeat the question?
Oh, well, we had discussed earlier about supporting local businesses and their effect on the economy. So I asked if there might be anything in particular you would do differently to help support the local businesses.
Well, as I've stated before, I would be doing many things to make sure people who are not within the same time zone will be able to sell each other through, like the farmers market I was mentioning earlier. I'd like to see other businesses that are being ran locally to be ran by people, such as the bathhouse or the general goods store. They could be, I mean, they could be selling specialty items. I don't see why they wouldn't be selling like briefcases so I can change my clothes on the run or something like that for the bathhouse. And I'm sure the general goods store would be a very good place as a general trading hub for people who are trying to trade their cotton or things. Things could be a lot more uh, people to people rather than person to local people. You know what I'm saying? So I would like to push more towards that rather than just us using, spending money straight towards the government and should be going into the hands of each other.
So to clarify, you believe that there should be services at the bathhouse. I understand. I understand.
Not the kind that you were talking about, perhaps, but yes, there should be services like you could also maybe rent out the top rooms. Like there's a
Oh,
lot of
rooms, of
potential
course.
there.
Services and rooms at the bathhouse. Absolutely.
That's right.
All right. Now, speaking of, there was some brief discussion about taxation. Now, when you mention taxation, what is each of yours opinion about a potential income tax or perhaps sales tax remitted to allow the town to have a coffers to grow a bit?
So, for me, I do believe that when it comes to kind of ties into businesses and if you want to get a house, I'd say the only time you would be taxed would be if you were to put down 50%, and it has to be 50% to take out a loan. You
Mm,
get that other half of the loan, and then at most it would be 2.5% tax if we were to implement any type of taxation involved.
okay, and you, sir?
I'm pretty for taxation, actually. Like I said, people here and my fellow candidates on my side need to understand why economy work, be it in the old world or this new world, as you know say. We need definitely taxation. Business are making money. And I have plenty of business owners that are looking at me right now and know that I'm right on that. It's not an attack to any businesses. People need to understand that for a mayor to work and having a mayor to work, like you said, we need a coffer. We need money in case we need to repair the church, for example, or the bathhouse, or something that is public. And that's why I'm definitely for a taxation. Of course, the rate of it will be seen with maybe a council meeting, something like that, or a citizen meeting, and those details can be seen later. But I'm definitely for taxation.
All right, and you, Mr. Reinhardt.
As far as taxation goes, it would have to be very heavily discussed with the businesses on what their earnings are and how that would work, and there would be a very fair tax after the fact. But I wouldn't push anything too heavy on people, and it would be a very we try to keep things experimental and changing to adjust to make sure everything is fair as possible. That's all I would really say about that for right now.
All right. Now, it may come as a surprise to everyone here, but occasionally there have been crimes committed here in Valentine. What would you do to support your local law enforcement? How would you grow the departments? How would you support the departments and perhaps put into place policies and procedures that might in the future prevent these types of tragedies?
I do want to work very closely with law enforcement as far as making sure Valentine stays a very safe town. I have acknowledged that there have been some instances where women have been being attacked and targeted, and currently with how the split of the law enforcement currently here is, I do want to do my best to get that back up there and to prevent any type of attacks on innocent people that live here every day in peace.
All right, you, sir?
It's again a very, very big point there, as I did work when I entered the state there very closely with the like Monsieur Weston here, I own a bounty hunter license, and I'm intent to work even more closely as a mayor if I'm elected, of course, with the law enforcement and see what their needs are. For now, I don't think we need more people, more law in town, as most of you don't know, but Valentine is the town with the most lawmen compared to any other town around the county and the state. So that's a point that will need to be raised with the sheriff in a meeting and see what their needs are. be a part of the taxation, a very small part of the taxation. Will be go back to the lawmen, to get better weapon trainings, anything they need. Maybe horses too, things like that.
Okay, all right. And you, Mr. Reinhardt?
Well, as I mentioned previously in my statements, town safety. I am very much for town safety. I would like to see more training and drills done for the sheriff and deputies to practice more efficient, to be more efficient in the field. Like I said, as well as guard stations near the bank, as that's where we've seen attacks happen. Appears to be where a lot of the uh, robbing is happening near the bank. So I'd like to see more guard station there. As well as use, like my opponent said, we would like to use a little bit of the taxation to incentivize more deputies to be on duty.
All right. Now, the question that was earlier shouted from the gallery, and I'm sure is on everybody's hearts and minds, not mine, of course, because I work for the bank, but the cost of sustenance, bread, water, what have you, has certainly risen the last couple of days.
Goddamn right.
So, what do y'all think about that? What do you think you could do about that? And what do you think you could offer the town of Valentine in these difficult times?
Well, as I had mentioned before, I definitely want to work with the local people of the town that like to do a little hunting. They get with the contract, they would get a little bit of pay, as well as getting able to turn into all the hide that they get from the deer and venison. And we would do our best to have a little side business to try and help and maybe work with other businesses, sell it to them and they sell it for a cheap price because, bread and water, it should not be $2. If anything, the venison should be around that price because, you feel good after eating it, fills you up a bit more. That being said, I don't agree with the prices going up and I'm willing to listen to the people for what they wish to see if I were to become mayor.
All right, and you, sir?
Well, sadly, again, that's a reality of economy. I do not agree with the price going up, but that's who it is in an economy that's going well. Price rise. Sad, but it's like that. But there is actually a lot of things we can do. Again, we can use a party of the tax there from the fellow most rich citizen and the businesses and everyone contribute. Maybe I hope some of you did go to Saint Denis and saw that they've got a soup populaire, like we say in French, which is a popular supper, we can say. Maybe some things can be done with the church, for example, and give maybe a bit of bread, water, and necessity, basic necessity to those in needs there. And but there is a lot to see and a lot to do, and a lot to speak about in that matter. Again, with the citizen of Valentine itself.
All right, you, Mr. Reinhardt?
Well, as much as it is a tragedy that bread and water has gone up, I'm sure that we can come up with, like a previous opponent said, some contract work or some charity work done by the church. I'd like to see more support for the church so that they can do more work, such as supplying food for the hungry and what have you. So I guess what I'll say is, when we through events and taxation, we will have some type of charitable donations towards the hungry and poor and what have you.
All right, well, now we draw to the end of this here debate. I'd like to offer you each an opportunity to give your final comment, starting with Mr. Weston.
Well, I'll say this. My duty, especially being a bounty hunter, is I go after people that I only specific people that I believe have attacked innocent people. I don't stand for that. I don't believe going after innocent people and businesses should be a thing. I want to do my best to help the economy grow and the population grow here in Valentine. I believe it is a great town, and I don't want anyone to miss out on it. I want to put away everything that may be seen as greed and show that we're all here for each other rather than, trying to get a buck off people because it's just a rural point for most of the county.
All right, thank you. And next?
I will be pretty simple there. I would like first to thanks all the population of Valentine and outside of it, of the Southern Republic there to be here and present and hear us and me especially what I have to say. And I hope that one day I will see some of you there at the same podium doing the same democratic duty that we are all doing today. We should be proud of that, very proud actually. It is not given in this world to any country to have that real democracy in march. And that's pretty much it. Again, a big thank you to everyone to be here, and I hope you will not work for me, or I will not work for you, but with you.
Fantastic. And finally, sir.
Well, as some parting words, I would just like to say that my main reasoning for being mayor is simply because I like each and one of you. I think y'all are good people. I want to see the town grow. I want to see more business. I want to see more fun. I want to see more events. I want to see a lot of things that are not happening right now. And I promise I will make it my personal duty that this town is as good as possible.
Fantastic. All right. Well, I want to thank every one of you for coming up to speak your minds and run for this here office. And I want to thank everyone out here for showing up to this here debate. We will be having an election forthwith. That'll be announced. So keep an eye on the pin boards and make sure that you vote and that your vote is counted properly. We'll have a system in place for you, and hopefully it'll go just as smoothly as this here debate did. So once again,
Porter, I got a question about the witchcraft thing. You know, because it does pertain.
And that's dynamite.
Wait,
definitely hear dynamite.
Dynamite?
Or no, is that smoke? Okay, that sounded scary.
Well,
okay.
Don't say that.
I like
Don't say
to-
that.
My lord, you had
My bad.
Can I
My
can I
bad,
ask
well,
my
someone
witchcraft
threw a
question?
smoke up
Yes,
as they were
yes,
talking
sir.
at the
Alright.
end.
So with the proposition of we're dealing with witchcraft and whatnot, back in the day they dealt with that, but the results weren't really too conclusive. They didn't really find out if they were witches or not. How do y'all plan on weeding out the witches if there are some?
I'll
If
allow
there
this
are
question.
some, well, I can tell you, like I said, if they are endangering human life, then we will definitely do our best to step up and get rid of that threat to the people. I know some people believe in it, some people don't. Like I said, everyone has their own right to religion. However, I do not tolerate innocent people being hurt, and if that's the case for witchcraft, then we will do our best to stop it.
Yeah.
All right. You, sir?
For myself, I'm pretty confident in the law enforcement going forward. They're on investigating any harm that could be done to the folks, and I'm pretty sure we will do what we need to do in due time if there is anything to do about it. Let's not draw a conclusion too quickly, too, and not make the same mistake as in the past.
All right. And you, Mr. Rindhart.
Any businesses that are suspected of witchcraft will be heavily regulated and reviewed by the deputies as well as myself to ensure that there is no witchcraft going on. I would also like to maybe see, by chance, there could be a group hired for specifically that if they are well trained in such a thing to snuff out witchcraft, that I could probably have them do some contract work as well.
Fantastic. Well, thank you.
Good. My buddy Brian got turned into a toad, so I'm
No.
biased towards the whole witchcraft thing.
Well, that's why we've got strong candidates up here clearly against sorcery in all forms.
Yep.
If I might ask a question of myself.
Oh, you know what? This wasn't originally planned, but hell, why not? What you got?
I'd like to key in on the debate regarding swampweed, aka marijuana. I'm a doctor, and I know full well that there are medical benefits to imbibing in it. It can help with anxiety as well as pain, muscle soreness, PTSD, and many other ailments.
That's definitely what we wanted to hear. A medical doctor advice there, and I'm pretty sure we could gather other medical advice and maybe talk about it if I am elected or if any one of my fellow candidates there are elected.
Okay, what about you, Mr. Weston?
As I stated before, I was all for it, mainly because I've never seen anybody have a bad experience with it. It's mainly been used for medical reasons, never for anything else. So I can get behind it as long as the people are behind it.
All right, and finally, Mr. Rindhart.
Well, if the people are behind it, then I will get behind it as well. I put up some very interesting points, Miss Doctor. If it were to go to that way, I believe it would go through the doctors to make sure it is regulated correctly.
All right. Anyone else got any questions?
I got a question.
All right, what you got?
I'd like to know the candidates' opinions on the death penalty, depending on the crime, of course.
Oh, all right. Spicy question there. Over to you, Miss Weston.
For the individual that is targeting women and is going around doing serious offenses and several offenses, such as I believe 3 accounts of murder so far, and I believe there's only been 1 survivor, thank God. I think that individual would definitely deserve the death penalty. There are such things as accidents. I think it would depend on, what the situation it was and how it came to be, and if there's sufficient evidence to prove that it was done on an accident. That being said, if it's intentional, I would have to work closely with the people because I believe it's something that the people should vote on. If they believe an individual should be sentenced to death for his crimes, then they should be getting what they want.
All right, next.
Well, it's a really delicate question there. I would like to take a minute there to speak about confidence. As you vote there, fellow citizen, you put your confidence into us. We, as mayor, whatever we will be elected, will put our confidence into the judicial system, the law enforcement, and we'll of course keep an eyes on what happened there. But it's more a question for the judicial system. I'm personally for a final death penalty for those that deserve it, like Monsieur West say, multiple murder case going around, the kind of things I will be agreeing on a death penalty, of course. But I'm firmly believer of reformation too. I'm believing that some people make mistake in life or sometimes don't have much choice there and should have given a second chance.
Kill them all.
Thank you, sir. And next.
Well, I fully support the fact that people deserve a second chance, and especially if they want to be rehabilitated. There are so many fine folks that made the mistakes. Am I right, Buck?
Oh,
That
come on, man.
that are good people. So I believe that there should always be an option for life. However, if they have no regard for rehabilitating themselves, I mean, it would be up to the people what his fate would be. I would not want that to be purely on me for reasons of being biased or any other reasons. For example, that person who killed the 3 people or 2 people and injured the one, I personally think that he should hang. But is that the same people as is that the same opinion as everyone else? I do not know. So again, that would be something that would be decided among the people of Valentine whom should hang. It shouldn't just fall to me, but I would definitely make the decision if it became, a draw or something.
Let them hang.
Now the floor's open up. Anyone else got any questions? Well, I see we have some strong opinions on the killing question.
I guess so.
All right. Anything else?
Why are you asking the question that's burning in your heart?
Mister, if I could say my piece over here. How you doing there, fellas? You probably recognize me. I just got a quick question for you, each of you, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, so specifically, I want to know your opinions on law enforcement. Do you stand for us or do you stand against us? That's all I got for you.
I think I've worked with you very closely as being with a bounty hunter, so I'm with you guys.
Okay, simple and concise. And you, sir?
Seemed like a
Well, that's not even a question there. Of course, we are for the law enforcement.
Seemed a little rhetorical.
Pretty sure all of us will work closely with the law enforcement to bring peace and order into the town.
All right, and Mr. Reinhardt.
I will say that as long as the law vows to protect its people, then I will always be for the law.
That's a good answer.
All right. All right. Anyone else got any last ones?
I'm good.
All right. Perfect. Well, I hear that they's got some food set up over there. If y'all want some deals on something around there.
I am dirt poor, my friend, but I appreciate it.
We'll set you
You're
up.
just
Ain't you gotta worry
dirty.
about it.
All right, this is a debate, not a charity.
Right. Well, thank you all for coming out here. Enjoy the food, the drinks, and keep an eye on those pin boards because we got that election coming up probably next few days.
Hell yeah. God bless America.
God bless
Yes,
America.
sir.
The Southern Republic.
Fantastic. All right. Good luck, you all. Stay safe out there.
Hell yeah.
Take care.
Yes.
Dilly dilly.
Now, where's my fucking ass?